ceremonies were arranged will be called with that name. Later, when he died, his wife Lucaria Kalmikova was elected as the leader. Accepting a women administrator provided that discrimination was not accepted in that community even at those times. Women and men were the subjects of the same god, and difficult labor conditions were the same for both. Sometime later, Doukhobors were located in the around Kars behind Caucasia ruled by Russians at that period. They established settlements in these regions as well. They found the heaven they had to live in Milky Waters Valley by Sea of Azov once. Their neighborhood rules were so advanced.
Hepsi komşuydu, hepsini de beraber konuşuyorduk, beraber çalışırdık. Hep birlikte yemeği de beraber yiyorduk. Bir gün bir misafir geldi. Benim bir şeyim olmasa onlar yapar getirir, tökerdiler, yerdiler. Havuç, maydanoz, turp, şalgam, ne dünyada ne desen ekirdiler. Simişka, onlar durmazdı, çalışardı. Avdotya, İsmiha, Maria, Konya, bunlar dördü bir kuma değildiler, eltiydiler birbirine. Dört evin gelini, bir evin geliniydiler. Deyir ki, komşu, geleceğim, ben gene seni ziyaret etmeye geleceğim, bana deyir.
They socialized easily with the people. They shared all their knowledge and skills with their great hearts and tolerance. They knew animal breeding and processing milk and dairy products very well. Using the earth and every kind of technique and technology of their times as well. During Ottoman-Russian War between 1877-1878, Doukhobors were under oppression in order to serve Russian army. In 1874, compulsory military service call was announced in Caucasia. Doukhobors were also forced to join the army. Trade was great. If they didn't accept to help, Doukhobor village would be plundered and intruded by Russian troops who did not see Doukhobors among them or by the enemy. Lucaria Kalmikova, the woman leader of Doukhobors, had to accept the offer unwillingly in order to protect her community that was threatened with death and violence, but they would only provide support service. Ottoman-Russian War was full of sorrow and death just like all the other wars. Lucaria told young males who would participate in the only military service campaign in Doukhobor history that this compensation was inevitable. She advised them to fire over the heads of Turkish if they were first to take arms in their hands. they should stay away from the Palindrich and they should help all the casualties, ignoring their side. Doukhobor youth had to stand providing service behind this bloody war approximately for a year. After that, Lukaria Kankova sworn Doukhobors that a strong and determined leader who was going to end soldiership and slaughter forever would come up. In 1882, he invited young Doukhobor, Peter Vasilievich Verygin, to settle down in official mansion in Gorolevka village, where she would teach him different aspects of Doukhobor philosophy. On 15th December 1886, when Lucheska died, she was buried with ceremony that lasted 6 weeks. She was sent off among the other elders to eternity with love and respect again. She is being commemorated with prayers today as well. On 26 January 1887, a great majority of 20,000 Doukhobors in Transcaucasia assigned Peter Vasilievich Verygin as their new official leader. Now another new and difficult period started for Doukhobors. In 1894, Nicola II ascended the Chardon throne. During his administration, disturbance in Russia increased more. Absolute Tsar did not have the abilities to struggle desperation of the people, 90% of whom live in poverty, and especially the peasants in the countryside. On the other hand, he increased police operation unbelievably. He was proceeding towards the end step by step. His armies turned into a nightmare that could not be satisfied. While preparing to kill, he wanted to win Doukhobors who opposed war and believe in their own philosophy with all their heart. In 1890s, many young people, aged 21, were being registered for the compulsory military service. In the winter of 1894 and 95, 100 Doukhobor youth were recruited in the army. Hundreds of them had their papers in their hands. On the other hand, Doukhobor community leader Verygin was exiled to Siberia. In the far lands, a wild steppe beyond endurance, winter circumstances filled with snow, ice, and mud, and many other deadly creatures and deprivation. There were other Doukhobors exiled to these places after being sentenced to different punishments like their leader Verygin. Most of them would never be able to come back. Unfortunately, Trini was as old as the human history. Doukhobors were in great discomfort and privation in Caucasia. Operations increasing gradually about soldiership, and the disturbance was increasing. A decision of resistance had to be made, and it will be made. "11 Doukhobor youth recruited in the army laid down their arms during the Easter ceremonies in April 1895 and refused to participate in the ceremony arranged in the area of the troop. Their honorable action, which prepared the resistance, would cause exiles to punishment troops, sorrow, torture, and death. A handful of young men started an action in the quiet corners of Russian Empire that would create a worldwide impact with its results and still affect lives of thousands of Doukhobors. This action of laying arms would spread among Doukhobors who were recruited or waiting to be recruited in a short time. And just after then, they prepared with deep whispers at first, and then with secret communications. Great weapon piles were prepared in 3 large Doukhobor regions. They were mixed with coal, wood, and fuel full of vehicles. And at the night of 28 and 29 June 1895, these weapon piles were set on fire at the same time in 3 different Doukhobor regions. Flame soared as an outcry against soldiership, arms, and slaughter. Wooden parts of the arms burned, steel parts melted, smudgy, and dirty smoke soared towards the sky. Everywhere smelled burnt uniforms, arms, and melted iron. Memories would live up to present. Flames symbolizing the setting of arms on fire in 3 regions would always be remembered. Spirit wrestlers would always remind the world the belief, resistance, and determination of the Doukhobors against soldiership and slaughter, and the universal importance of peace and disarmament. 5 young Doukhobors from Kars left a photography they had a few days before the action as a memory. Grigory Verygin, the younger brother of leader Verygin, was among them. Doukhobor leader Verygin's personal hunting rifle was put among the weapons burnt in Kars region with his own instruction. Fires were so big that they could be seen kilometers away. In Kars region, the reaction of the government and soldiers to those who burned weapons and the action of returning recruiting papers after that was more limited compared